What's up, guys? It's your boy J here, coming at you with another deck tech. This is my black-white Aristocrats build. So, Baker T's been doing really well with his mono black Aristocrats builds, and I've also seen out of him like Abzan Aristocrats. I've also seen like black green Aristocrats builds. It's just a ton of like different ways to build a deck. So this is just my take on it. I'm starting to run out of ideas. So I think what the rest of the deck techs will be just kind of like looking at like really successful decks and trying to make them just a little better or tweak them out, the old mecha style, and see what happens. So the reason for me, the reason to be white is the Vizier Remedies Murder's Red Cap combo, where you're not really aware of it. Vizier Remedies says that if one or more -1/-1 counters we put on a creature you control, that many -1 counters -1 are put on it instead. So basically, if you have one of these out and you have a sack outlet like a Bloodstorm Vampire, and you play a red cap, you just basically get infinite red caps when you just sack them. Because the persist trigger happens, and then you don't get the counter, and so on and so forth. So you just go infinite. Hooray! I've actually played a lot of like games with this earlier versions of this deck, and my only real out was just the play, to the combo, and yeah, just good enough. Just good enough where it just kind of wins out of nowhere. So that's why I'm trying to play this deck, and it has like all the usual suspects with other aristocrat style builds. So I'm just gonna dive right into the mana base and to the deck. Dive into mana base, and here we go. So 24 lands. The deck's actually really mana hungry. I actually go all the way to 5 in my curve. I've got 10 white sources, and the rest are just bombs. I think 10 is enough. You really want a white source by turn 4, 2 of them by turn 5, obviously. But you just want to get like 0 remedies down, kind of like quickly, or just at some point convenient. I think like 10 is enough. Going to 2 drops Vizier, we already talked about it. It's just basically only good with red cap. Stats alone, yeah, it's a 2-1 for 2, which is like not embarrassing. But yeah, it's only really here for red cap. Bloodthorn Vampire is my sack outlet of choice. It's the cheapest one, and I think it's probably the best one. And that's the best reason here. It's just cheap. So you kind of like chain 2 things together. Like maybe on turn 4 you play a red cap, and then turn 5 you can play 2 things at once, like Vizier Vampire, and then that's it. You're going off. Carrier Thrall, probably the best sort of like when it dies, get something trigger, get something kind of guy, because the Sign token can ramp you and also can block when you're trying to face against like a heroic deck that like has like an emergence cave. Colorless, the Sign token is colorless, so yeah, pretty great. Here's our High Priest, a staple in the Aristocrat builds. You get a lot of Morbid triggers just on your own, just when you're sacking like Scion tokens or playing like Flashback Marauders, or you got a Blood from Vampire. So you got a good chain of like turn 2 Priest, turn 3 Vampire, turn 4 Carathrall, sack the Carathrall to the Vampire. Now I'm some have a 5/5 and a bunch of other guys. That's on its own can just win right there. Some people just aren't prepared for that. But yeah, he's here, and he's here to stay. My removal suite, ultimate price, really good against the emerging black decks, the heroic decks, obviously. Even now mono red. So there's a lot of like mono-colored decks that are just very aggressive and very strong. So I like ultimate price. I'm playing 3 of them actually. Warren Weirding, a little weird. It's kind of like Cruelty Dick, but I can actually target myself, and has some like niche applications to it. Like maybe I have like a Murderous Red Cap and a Squares like High Priest, and I need to trigger Morbid somehow. So I can target myself and target the red cap, and I get the red cap back, and also get 2 other goblins with the goblin claws on the Warren Weirding. So then I get 3 guys, and I can make a demon with my High Priest. So there's little things like that can happen. So I'm just trying it out. I haven't really tried it yet, but I think it could be pretty interesting. Moving to the 3s, Fleshbag Marauder, just solid guy. You want like your creatures to do multiple things, and Fleshbag Marauder is really good removal spell, which doesn't really actually target creatures; it targets players. So that's really important to get around the heroic side of like Emergence Gate. Grim Horror Specs. Originally, I had a 2/1 between this and a Smothering Abomination, but I think with the curve consideration, I think Horror Specs is a little better. Smothering Abomination's better because when it flies, use the Void. and 3 counts any creature, not just non-tokens. But Harvest's a good guy, good on stats, a 3/2 for 3, nothing to sneeze at. But yeah, I like him. Recurring Nightmare, look at 2 of them in here. It's just kind of like good, incidentally good in this deck. It's not really dedicated Nightmare deck, but it's got a lot of value out of it. You got a lot of creatures that leave something behind or just bring something with them. So the recurring Nightmare is just good enough to have. Just the 2 of them, just kind of shove them in there. Murderous Redcap, another piece of the combo. Also just incidentally good. You can just like play it on 4, kill a small creature, block, finish off another creature, things like that. This is a good guy. Marsh Flitter, kind of their 5th sack outlet for the Goblin. It does require a sacrifice of goblins, which Murderous Redcap is. It also flies, which is kind of relevant when you're trying to like finish off your opponent, and it also makes other creatures, which is really important with the Nightmare. It's kind of like a all-in-one package of little different things. Fallgraph Noble, so a lot of like traditional Aristocrat builds and other formats always play like Blood Artist or Zolport Cutthroat, and I'm always surprised that this effect isn't in other of the Penny Dreadful Aristocrats builds. Obviously it's expensive at 4, but it's just so powerful that I think it's like it warrants a slot. I play it as a 1-up because of like I said, because of the curve. I'd play like more if I could. So I might actually end up playing more. I think it like just gives your deck a lot of reach. There's a lot of games where you're just kind of like behind, and you can play this guy, and all of a sudden like blocking becomes really weird. You can just play a bunch of tokens, and all of a sudden like go on the ground, and then eventually you get like a sack outlet, and you just sack all those tokens when you've stabilized, and it's great. Then you're just like ahead all of a sudden. It's crazy. And it attacks for 2 in the air. Flying is really good. It's a very relevant stat. Which brings you to my last card. Cloudguard Ranger. Also makes a lot of tokens. It's a good rate for the mana cost. You get 4 dudes for 5 mana. The only card that's better than that is Deranged Hermit. It's for 5, you get 5. So, and also, like if you tap the 3 Kithkin, it comes to play, the Ranger flies and gets +2/+0. So on its own, it just has like a good enough stat base that it can just kind of kill your opponent out of nowhere. Also good with Nightmare, of course. It brings friends along. Moving to the sideboard, white is the other reason to be white is in the sideboarding. I think it kind of like helps out what mono black is lacking, which is mostly artifact and enchantment removal. So that's where Seal Cleanse comes in. It deals with like things like Witchbane Orb, Jace's Sanctum from Storm decks, Scrabbling Claws if you're still kind of on the Nightmare plan, things like that. Or even it helps prevent the disrupting combo if you have the claws out, because it just take the red cap. So Seal Cleansing, overall good guy. Stonecloaker is my kind of like graveyard hate of choice. I wanted it as a creature, and there are other creatures that do this in black, but I think Stonecloaker is the best. It has a little clause where it can return a creature you control to its owner's hand. So you bounce a Stonecloaker and just keep doing it to the new graveyard, or you kind of reset some of your other creatures from your own deck, like the Cloud Ranger. You just make more guys. Red Cap, you can reset a red cap, things like that. I think it's really neat. Celestial Purge, kind of self-explanatory for black and red decks. Deathmark for the green and white decks to have creatures. I don't play with like Nature's Rune. It's a little too narrow. I think Deathmark is where I want to be. I want a little extra removal against Heroic. Desecration Demon. The deck's kind of slow to kind of set up sometimes, and sometimes you want to kill them quick, like in the control matchups. In the storm matchups, you really want to kill them quick, and Desecration Demon's just a big guy for the cost. So it can end games pretty quickly if left unchecked. Distress is kind of like my discard card of choice. There's obviously a ton of other options, mainly Hymn to Torak and Cryo Contortion, which most of the decks, the Aristocrat decks I see play. I personally don't like that version, just me. Only because I like choosing the cards that I want them to discard. With Cryo Contortion for him is random, and we're not playing Hearthstone, so I don't like the RNG effect. Cryo Contortion is good. It has a haunt trigger, so you can make your small creatures just a little better. But I don't know. Like every time someone Cryo Contortions me and I'm playing Storm, I discard like something like a Take Inventory or something I can't cast. It doesn't bother me that much. I'd rather just play Distress. Distress gives you the other advantage of just getting information of what they have and what they can do with their mana. So that's why I really like Distress. It's gonna be a little awkward to cast with all our mana, but I think I have enough untapped black sources. I can easily cast this on 2. So yeah, that's the deck. I've played several versions of this deck before, so I'm pretty used to it. I'm just trying out a couple new cards like Ranger and War Weirding and some other numbers and these things. So yeah, I'm excited to play it. Let's see what happens.